You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Universal Traction Systems, Vantage Point Marketing, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Chiro Thin, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, and Everest Chiropractic Bootcamp. Let's hustle. Hey everybody, Jim Chester here. This is an afternoon edition of the Chiro Hustle podcast live stream. I have the opportunity today to interview Dr. Tabor Smith. He's coming in from Houston, Texas. I am in Lakewood, Colorado. And I just want to say a big thank you to Jason Yeager with the Universal Traction System with the utsspine.com is where you can find him. But I just want to say a big thank you to Tabor and to Dr. Yeager for being on this episode. And Tabor, I know we have some cool things to talk about today, and you're going to let people know a little bit about home care, wellness checks, and then we're going to talk about getting new patients. And I think everybody's interested in that, right?
Right. Well, first, let me start off by saying something amazing about Jason Yeager. And what's the name? Universal Tractions, right?
Yep.
That guy is amazing. Not only a great person, but a great chiropractor. And he's helped so many people. I would highly recommend that you seek his wisdom and his services. So
I'm gonna flash up his website real quick so everybody knows where to find Dr. Jason. It's utsspine.com, and his systems is the Universal Traction System. And if you guys don't know much about that, it's a lot down the same trail as what Tabor does. It's curve correction therapy, and it's chiropractic biophysics type chiropractic.
They do it a lot better than I do. I'll tell you that much. They are amazing.
Awesome. Well, let's just jump right into our interview today. I know that the first topic we were going to discuss today is on wellness checks. Tell us about what a wellness check is and how it helps people.
Sure. So my mission is to create an awareness in our world that we should get the spine and nervous system checked at a young age and routinely throughout life. And to give you some hope that this could actually be done, let's look at another profession, dentistry. Let me give you an example. I have 3 little boys, an 8-year-old and twin 4-year-olds, and every one of them has visited the dentist for a checkup before they hit the age of 3, all right? Maybe even before 2. And they didn't have a tooth problem. They didn't have a toothache. They didn't have any issues at all. In fact, that's what I was trying to prevent is issues. But there's an awareness in our society that you need to take your kids to the dentist to get their teeth checked. In fact, there's such an awareness, it's almost like you are a bad parent if you don't take your kids to the dentist to get their teeth checked. Where is that when it comes to the spine? It doesn't exist.
And you're a bad parent if you allow your kids to eat stuff that decays their teeth.
Yeah, right. Yep. And those are the things. It's like there's education out there. Dentists have done a great job of owning this preventative care. They're the largest preventative healthcare profession in the world, basically. And they teach prevention. It's important to understand that dental hygiene is not necessarily dentistry. Like, you don't go to the dentist to buy a toothbrush, right? But the dentist, it's almost like the same thing in our minds, because the dentist owns this concept of dental hygiene because they teach their patients every single time they come in that you should come back for checkups, and then at home, you should be doing your dental hygiene exercises, basically, right? You're brushing your teeth, you're flossing, you're doing something that gives responsibility of your teeth to you. You're the only one that has responsibility, right? We don't have that in chiropractic yet, but we're really trying to push and build that awareness and say, you need to be doing something every day. You need to be doing some spinal hygiene exercise every day, and then coming to me for your checkups, correction of subluxation. Whereas in dentistry, they say you need to be brushing every day and flossing every day, and then coming to me for your correction of your cavities, right?
And not only that, they give the mouthwash too, so it's a whole toolkit. It's like brush twice a day, floss at least once a day, or maybe after every meal. And they have guidelines. So there's specific guidelines. And I know that that's something that you've done with your at-home care systems with spinal hygiene. And that I know it's a huge bridge to gap between human perception of what's good for them and what's a necessity.
Yes, absolutely. Which in moving into, because we can tie those together, that concept of hygiene, of spinal hygiene, and then home care, we can tie those together. In chiropractic, we're usually used to talking about home care only when it comes to corrective care. Right now, I do corrective care in my office, and I might even prescribe some corrective education. In fact, people like Dr. Jason Yeager are experts of the experts in corrective care, right? So so yes, sometimes when a patient is here and we see that they have subluxation, we have to give them a corrective exercise. That's a prescription. But I'm talking about in our company, we educate on global non-prescriptive exercises like the toothbrush, right? So I don't think a spinal hygiene exercise should be specific or prescriptive, because then not everybody could do it. It's like, imagine if you had to go get a prescription to use a toothbrush. It just would have never went viral. Or imagine if it took an hour to brush your teeth every day. Like, nobody would do it, right? So we just try to focus on this most simple, easiest spinal hygiene, most effective exercises that a patient could do, teach the mass public to do those on a daily basis, and leave the prescription and the corrective exercises to the chiropractor trying to correct specific subluxations.
Yeah, and I think that you've given a great outline for what people should be doing as according to your results with how you run your practice in your household.
Correct.
And I think that everybody runs their household a little bit differently.
Correct.
Some people are, they congratulate the young for brushing their teeth in the morning and before they go to bed. So those are like kind of like the where we're at in society today. You congratulate people for good dental hygiene because you don't want to see people walking around with bad teeth. Now we can turn that into the same type of ideology with chiropractic. And you don't want to see somebody walking around cobbled up, posture distortions, and having poor self-esteem because they don't feel good because their body is not feeling optimal because they don't have good spinal hygiene.
Right. Yep, exactly. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. And then there are, let me give you an example. I have an email list of, many thousands of chiropractors, and I sent out a poll, right? I wanted to poll the audience. And I asked them, do you practice spinal hygiene? Like, I didn't, add anything else to it. It was just, do you practice spinal hygiene? 60% of them 40% of them said yes, they do. And then they went on to explain what they did. And it was all over the place, but it was at least they did something. They did yoga, they did stretching, they did exercise, or some of them just got adjusted, but that to them was their spinal hygiene. But 40% of them said they did. The other 60% either said no, or they said, what are you talking about? Right? We don't know what you're talking about with spinal hygiene. And now that's okay too. It's an okay answer, but I'm just saying, imagine if you polled a group of dentists and you said, what is dental hygiene? And 60% of them said, what are you talking about? Like, we don't know what dental hygiene is, right? That would be crazy. In fact, I'll bet you if you pull an audience of dentists and you ask them what dental hygiene is, you might get a little bit of difference from person to person, but they're going to give you a very exact, conglomerate answer of what dental hygiene is. I wish we as a profession of chiropractors that we could give at least some sort of a structural answer on what spinal hygiene is. And that's why we teach our specific spinal hygiene exercises. We say you should do a range of motion stretch in the morning, spinal molding at night. And then that's like brushing your teeth. And then in the middle of the day, you might do a resistance exercise or a wobble disc exercise. And they're simple exercises and they're globally healthy for the spine. So they don't need to be prescribed, but we could all use those exercises to say, this is spinal hygiene. Now come in for a checkup and see if you need prescriptive corrective exercises that I would give you because you have subluxation.
And I know that you took this one step further. You created a whole at-home care kit for people. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure. In fact, it's even deeper and further than that. We created a certified spinal hygienist program, and then we've joined and are working with Life University's postgraduate education department and so they will be certifying spinal hygienists through their department, which is going to be really cool. So it's not like certified by Dr. Tabor Smith, right? Which would be really cool anyway, but maybe not everybody would like that. But so in this program, this is what we teach, not only the basics, because a lot of, I recommend all chiropractors go through the program, but a lot of them are going to be, rehab techs or CAs and people like that. They can get educated in this and do the patient education for you, which chiropractors would love, right? But then they're going to learn about the anatomy, physiology, exercise science, and then we get into the idea of spinal hygiene and exercises. And if we can start training our CAs, our staff, and even chiropractors that, want to learn more about this, then maybe we could start building a united front with this message that you should be checked early, routinely through life. You should do something for your spine. And we try to, we educate our patients that, and I know there's more to the spinal health than this, but we try to be very simple. And we say the spine should be in a good alignment, should move through a full range of motion, and the muscles around it should be strong and healthy. I mean, everybody could kind of understand that, right? Your spine should be in a good alignment. It should move through a full range of motion. The muscles around it should be strong and healthy. These exercises will help you keep those three areas of your spinal health.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Universal Traction Systems, Vantage Point Marketing, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Chiro Thin, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, and Everest Chiropractic Bootcamp. Let's hustle. And I don't have to interject to say this, but I will. That is something that could unify the whole chiropractic profession right there.
Right. So nobody can deny those three things, right? You can't deny the spine should be in a good alignment. I mean, you could argue a range maybe, but nobody could say that scoliosis is a normal finding. You can look in any anatomy book all the way back to Leonardo da Vinci when he would draw cadavers. You could see that he drew the spine straight from the front and would have natural curves from the side. So there's a certain alignment to the spine, no matter what kind of chiropractor you are or what technique you practice, there is a certain alignment to the spine. Number two, range of motion. I mean, this is founded, there are entire professions founded on range of motion, like physical therapy, right? So you can't deny that the spine should move through full range of motions. We have textbooks that show you the normal ranges of motion. And then the final one, the muscles around the spine should be strong and fit, and even relatively fit for each person, right? But they should definitely be in balance, and nobody can deny that either.
And anybody that doesn't have any of those markers is at some level of a disability.
Correct.
Period.
And here's why chiropractic should own spinal hygiene and not physical therapy and not medicine, is because any lack of one of those three is by definition part of that vertebral subluxation complex and should be corrected by a board certified chiropractor. So once we've corrected those things, then we teach our patients how to maintain those things. Or what I like to say is once we've corrected them as much as possible, then we teach that patient to maintain them as much as possible.
So let's talk about a little bit of implementation. How much time would somebody have to commit on a daily basis to practice proper spinal hygiene?
2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes at night. So the spine should move through a full range of motion. That's one of the core concepts of spinal hygiene. And it moves in three planes: forward and back, side to side, and rotation. And so all we have our patients do is take their spine to the end range of each plane of motion and hold it for 10 seconds. So they would bend forward like they're going to touch their toes, hold it for 10 seconds. Bend back, extend back, hold it for 10 seconds. Then they would slide their hand down their knee to the left, hold it for 10 seconds. Slide their hand down their leg to their knee to the right, hold it for 10 seconds. Then they would join their hands together, rotate, hold for 10 seconds. And then the other side, rotate, hold for 10 seconds. So I've literally took my spine through a full range of motion in 2 minutes. That's how long it took. Actually, 1 minute. And if you think about it, if somebody, let's say that the average office worker, desk worker doesn't exercise, just goes to work, goes home, watches TV, they probably haven't moved their spine through a full range of motion in years. And we wonder why spinal degeneration is at epidemic proportions today, right? Worse than ever in the human race. We have severe spinal degeneration coursing through our society. And it's because we're not moving our spine.
And I know that you're really passionate about that. And the next question that I wanted to ask you, just to follow up on that, is have you seen that people hold their chiropractic adjustments better that follow your protocols?
Absolutely. I tell them this will help you maintain what I'm doing in my office between your visits. And absolutely, I've seen that. Not only that, but And by the way, can I put the website out there? Do you mind if I share that?
No, no.
It's just
Let me put it up there.
yeah, it's
What is
just
it?
spinalhygienist.com. But not only that, dentistry, I don't know if they accidentally came upon this or if they strategically did this, but if you look in the early 1900s, dentistry wasn't that popular. In fact, if you were a dentist, you just pulled teeth all day. This was a time when industrialization, processed foods, simple sugars were introduced, so tooth decay was starting to become an epidemic, and dentists were busy, but they were just pulling teeth. And so when Dr. Alfred Phones, who's the father of dental hygiene, he introduced dental hygiene, it actually, and a lot of dentists thought they were going to put themselves out of business if you teach people to take care of their teeth. Like, it's literally, they thought that. But what it did was the opposite. It exploded dentistry. And here's why. It created an awareness that wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
That nobody knew they were supposed to take care of their teeth or they would rot. But when dentistry created that awareness, oh, I'm supposed to take care of my teeth. Oh, I'm supposed to take care of my kids' teeth. Oh, I'm supposed to take them to the dentist to get them checked and to get them cleaned. I didn't know that. Now there's this awareness and dentistry explodes, right? So think of what chiropractic could do if we could create an awareness that you're supposed to take care of your spine.
We understand that. My clinical experience, I worked in a chiropractic biophysics chiropractic center for 5.5 years. So I understand the mobility, the stability, the range of motion, the strength, all of those things that go into like rehab in someone's spine. I was a tech. Like, I was the person in charge of curve correcting people's spines that were out of alignment. And we taught rehab exercises to people. So when I heard about your program, I'm like, why doesn't every chiropractor implement this, love and appreciate what Tabor has come to the market with, and learn how to implement this, because it's so simple and it's so low barrier of entry that anybody can do it.
Well, I tell you what, I really appreciate that. And if anybody's listening and if they do go to spinalhygienist.com and check out the videos, if you like what you see there, please place a nice positive comment in the sections below there, because you know this, Jim. Anytime you try to get something out there to help the masses, negative Nellies come out of the woodworks and begin to like pick at everything you do. So we've certainly got our fair share of those that maybe are against us, or they're more medically minded and they're not for wellness and all these types of things. So if you're a like-minded chiropractor and you are resonating with some of the things we're sharing on this live feed, I really appreciate your support and going to spinalhygienist.com, putting a nice positive comment there for us. It would be great.
And I'm going to pattern interrupt right now because we're almost towards the edge of our time together. We have 4 more minutes on this live together. So I'm going to go on and just say thank you, Ryan Gunyon, for commenting. What's up, Ryan?
What's up, Ryan?
Michael Tokash, he is with Imaging Services. He's one of our flagship sponsors of the Chiro Hustle podcast.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Michael, and Imaging Services. If you guys need x-ray equipment or anything retrofitted or brand new kits, reach out to Michael Tokash with Imaging Services. And then we have Lily Serrano, the chiropractic marketing queen, who she's only been around for 2 years, Tabor, and look at the impact she's making.
Yeah, I've seen her name all over the place. She's
just because she's very forthcoming. She's effective at what she does, and she's becoming integrated into the community the right way and helping people. And if you have a service mindset first, you can go anywhere.
Right. Tim McFadden, he makes a good point there. He said, unfortunately, with chiropractic, it's almost the opposite. Some people think you're a bad parent if you take your kid to the chiropractor. How crazy is that? They think you're a bad kid or you're a bad parent if you don't take your kid to the dentist, but they think you're a bad parent if you do take your kid to the chiropractor. That's ridiculous. We have to create an awareness that changes this mindset.
And I always look at it as a health savings account. When people do get under chiropractic care, it saves them so much in the future if they just practice good spinal hygiene from day one till the end of the time for themselves, because they're not going to get this deep entrenched illness of whatever it might be that's spine related. And if you just invest in yourself and your family to get under good chiropractic care and get checked and adjusted if necessary from the day that those kids are born to the day that they decide that it's their time on earth is gone as grown adults, I think that we understand that that's a whole paradigm shift that we need to take in. Is people do invest into the dental industry, and they should be investing into the chiropractic industry, because chiropractic is that solution for those concerns of musculoskeletal, if that's where we want to take it to. But that's a lot of it is range of motion. The skeleton has to have a certain type of planes that it moves in, otherwise you're disabled. And if there's not strong enough muscles to support that spine, then once again, you're disabled. So we need to teach people how to become able-bodied citizens, and that's accountability.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And I'm going to have to wind it down here. I've got patients to see here in just a second, but I want to just add to what you just said, and then maybe even in closing and just say, you know what the cool thing is we have a large group, a community of people who really are living what I call the chiropractic lifestyle and showing that it's a better way to live. And so when you have, this population that's healthier, they're stronger, they're better, they're using less drugs, less surgery, they're happier, all of these things, you can say, look, here's this example that everyone should be living by, and we can be able to show them that, to take the picture of what's happening in here and be able to show the public that there are people who get their kids checked and then adjusted, and they are better and healthier and stronger and happier. And so, I just think we have it. Now we just need to get it out to the masses.
And chiropractic is all about human performance and quality of life. And that's why I support the profession. I call it the beautiful profession. And I know that we have about a minute left of our time together. So anybody out there, spinalhygienist.com, if you guys are interested in Jason Yeager's product in your CBP practices, it's utsspine.com for the universal traction systems. And I just want to say thank you, Tabor. I know we didn't even get a chance to talk about new patients. That'll be another topic we talk about.
We can go long on that one.
We can go long on new patients and how to generate new patients and harvest your communities. But the next thing that I'm going to say is Dr. Tabor will be our first ever second opportunity to do a Chiro Hustle podcast, which we'll be recording here at the end of this week. And I just want to say thank you once again for all of your absolute support of what we're doing over here at Chiro Hustle, Tabor, and thank you for being a contributor to what we do. And the reason that I think we're both so effective is because we want to keep free speech alive and well in the chiropractic profession, and we want to give solutions to people's problems.
Well, let me just say thank you for being a chiropractic warrior and helping us share this message and getting it to the masses. And, if we all work together, we could break through that tipping point, and we could take chiropractic. I think it needs to be bigger than dentistry. I think it needs to be the largest healthcare profession in the world. And together, I know we could do it. I truly believe we could do it. Like, I'm not just saying that as rhetoric. I think it's possible. I really do. And it just is going to take a lot of us pushing to be able to get there.
We need to quit being distracted and become hyper-focused for one common goal.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Tabor. Well, I know you got patients to go take care of. I just love and appreciate you, and I'll catch you on the next interview, okay?
All right. Love you too, brother. Thank you.
All right. See you, man. Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.